Okay, so Tevor is pretty fucking crazy. Okay, check this out, right? He has 2500 attack with the attack buff. That's gonna go up to like 3500 attack. I have the enemies up to level 80, 81. The runes on him are pretty garbage. But the first one I'm gonna show you is how the thing works. See, it's not even a debuff, so even if the enemies are immune to debuffs, it will still apply. I'll test this out in various contents and see if it still applies. But look, even if you inspect them, it's not gonna show up in the buff or debuff section. So it's there, the status is there, but it's not a debuff, so it's gonna work on pretty much everything. The red one is attack, highest attack. The green one is highest HP, and the blue one is highest defense. I'll show you the highest HP. It's not going to show you red text. Yeah, it's not going to show you any red text even though he's doing true damage. And this time I'll show you one more time, but this time I'll take this guy. Okay, so these two have the same amount of defense and the same amount of HP, and then we'll just target whichever that doesn't have the debuff, right, the status, because we want to see how much is that true damage portion really is, because the true damage portion shouldn't be able to crit, which I think it doesn't crit. Yeah, this guy gets the debuff even though they both have the same HP. Now take a look, we did like 34. Yeah, what, the true damage is so fucking massive. You see that shit, right? I went from 12k to 34k down to 12k. So that means that the true damage did like what, 22k? The true damage is just attack times the multiplier, which is 600%. So his attack with the attack buff is like 3500 times 600%, 21,000 true damage with garbage relics. So this could be the best build for him, could be attack speed or attack, just to maximize the true damage. But keep in mind, if you maximize the attack, your crit damage is going to be low, which means every other target that isn't the one with the highest HP is going to, you're gonna do less damage, right, overall. So it still might be a good idea to go crit damage attack, or crit damage attack speed. Oh, and I also forgot, Neko Sense is no longer a stack buff, it's now a turn buff. So the start of combat, you gain Neko Sense for one turn, and what Neko Sense is crit damage plus 30%, chance of taking critical hits minus 100%. This is so big. Resets all of Tevor's ability cooldowns at the start of his turn. It's a golden rim buff that resets his ability whenever he gets this turn, which means he's not going to be affected by Nusi or any other cooldown increase when he hasn't got his turn yet and he has this buff. So when he gets his turn, if he isn't stunned or anything, he's going to get his S3 and he's going to use his S3. Like, that is so good. And the way he gains Neko Sense, just aside from start of combat, is when you kill an enemy with him. So any enemies killed will give him Neko Sense. So in like wave clearing, he's going to be so good. Okay, let's check him out in Desolate Lands and see if his status can work. Is he gonna do... Oh wait! It does! Oh my god! He's cracked! He's cracked! What the fuck? Okay, let's not get too hyped, because the thing is, true damage cannot crit. So him having all this buffs on the enemy means that this part, the highest attack, is not gonna be any use, because you can't kill the boss. The highest defense, he's going to ignore 25% defense every single turn that he takes with every attack. And the highest max HP, this is the one that's going to boost his damage significantly, because the boss will always have the highest max HP. So every time he attacks, he's going to do this 600% true damage nuke. Now true damage cannot crit, which means it's just going to be your attack times your multiplier, right? If you give him like attack, crit damage, attack, he's gonna have like maybe around 4,500 maybe attack, and then you times that with attack buff, give him attack up, which is going to bump his damage up to his attack up to 6,300. Then you times that with the multiplier, he's going to do 37,800 true damage every single time he attacks. Now that's not that broken, even though it sounds broken every single time he's doing that, but it's not broken because he cannot gain Neko Sense anymore aside from the start of combat, because the boss cannot die, which means you can no longer get Neko Sense buff. His attack is on a very high cooldown of 6 turns. I'll give it a try in my main account where I have better gear to try him out in Shadow Fire and stuff, but it's not gonna be that broken in like, especially in like Desolate Lands, because once you've used your S3, that's probably gonna do like maybe at most 200,000, and then you're gonna use your S1, and then S1 is probably gonna do like 50k, 50k, 50k for like 5 turns. Then you can start doing your 200k nuke. It's not gonna be better than Ggez per se or Chloe, so I don't think he's gonna be like that crazy in like the shadow bosses. Yeah, see, I mean, this one I have no gear on him. But he's doing a shit ton of damage because of that true damage. But yeah, it works even on bosses. Now I have one more test to do for him. Tevor's attack ignore damage mitigation effects. Fafnir with the shield stacks is going to ignore damage mitigation, but we'll check that out. Take a look at his wave clearing potential. Look, 400,000. Oh, what the fuck, dude, he's so cracked. Oh my god, 400,000. Look again, boom. Okay, he didn't crit that time. Okay, now look at the boss. I'm going to attack the boss first without damage reduction. The boss gets all of the stacks, all of the debuffs. There's no damage reduction on the boss because the boss doesn't have any stacks. Take a look, 29,000, right? Okay, now I'm gonna make the boss have a few Anvari stacks, and then we'll see. If he ignores damage mitigation effect, he should be doing 29,000 damage, and he doesn't. Okay, so Fafnir stacks will still apply the damage mitigation, so he's not gonna cheese Fafnir like crazy. He doesn't work on Fafnir for the damage mitigation effect. His wave clearing potential is absolutely fucking insane. So what I think is going to be happening moving forward is that for Ritual Miracle runs, he's going to be your best unit to one-turn every single minion wave. So wave 1 and 2, you can make him the fastest. He moves first, he's going to use his S3, boom, everyone is dead. Keep in mind, I don't even have his S3 max. It goes up to 330%, and with the overkill damage is fucking massive. 150% overkill damage, 150% overkill damage. If it only takes, let's say, half, right? So 330%, half of that is 165% damage. That 165% damage is going to multiply by 150. He is going to do 247% AoE damage. That is fucking massive. What the hell? He's gonna be so good in like Ritual Miracle wave clearing. Like probably even better than Ggez and Leora, because the thing is, Ggez needs 2 turns. Leora has type disadvantage. She only works in Chronos. You can use her in Fafnir and APAP for wave clearing, but that's gonna be a lot of RNG. Tevor is a shimmer, so he's gonna crit on every single time if you have him at 100% crit rate. But the thing is, the 150% overkill damage, if you use up all 330% of his damage, then the overkill is not gonna be anything. So it's similar to like R6 Lewis, but keep in mind R6 Lewis is only 50% of the overkill damage. This dude is 150% overkill damage. What the fuck? Alright, on to the next unit. Okay, so Raven, right? I was a bit confused with her skill 2. So it's now fully a passive skill that when an enemy takes a hit, and if there is no buff on them, they will get hit by this pursuit attack. So this pursuit attack is the sunset. It's not her S1. In my comments, someone mentioned that Unas doing an AoE should also proc the AoE. We'll check that out, see if it's any allies or is it just Raven. Let's see. Does she pursuit? She does! Oh my gosh, she's cracked! Okay, so in a cleave team, she's gonna be able to use this skill twice because her S3 will reset the pursuit. Okay, so I made a mistake there. The reset on her S2 is when she gets resonance 2. It's not when at R0 she doesn't reset. So yeah, when she uses her S3, it's not going to reset her skill 2 without resonance 2. So yeah, whenever an ally uses a skill that damages any enemy that isn't buff, she's going to do the pursuit. Let's check this out, right? If I use a single target ability, she still pursuits on every single one. Okay, so as long as there's one enemy that isn't buff, she is going to use her pursuit, and it's on a 3-turn cooldown. And let's check if she will pursuit upon her own attack. Will she pursuit her own attack, or is it just ally? It should be on like every single ally or every single hit. Yeah, she pursuits basically on every single hit. Any hit that's coming from her ally or coming from herself. Wow, this is a massive change, because if you have her R2, she's going to be able to use this skill twice in a cleave team. But even if you don't, you're going to use her strip, and then she can do this skill next, which is going to do a shit ton of damage, 120% with speed scaling, mind you. And if the enemies are not buffed, this second skill does 90% with 15% additional damage and speed scaling and max HP cap reduced. So what is that? 120%, 90, that's 210% plus speed scaling plus extra damage. That's 225% with speed scaling. Bro, she's cracked with defense now. And 100% chance to strip, by the way. Because if you build her faster than the enemies, she's going to have 100% chance of strip. Cannot be resisted. This is massive, man. What a massive change. Okay, so the change with Tiye is just that she will swap the AP, and the rest is just number change, right? This is okay. Yeah, this has additional effect. I'll showcase that one out as well. But the biggest change to her is that she swaps the AP. So my Narmer has 0 speed, and she's gonna swap out the AP with this guy on the front. Let's check it out. Wow, that is absolutely massive, man. An AP swap, like I said, it's part of the reason why Ggez is so broken. I mean, Ggez swaps AP and HP, but just Tiye having the swap of AP means that you can run a 0 speed Narmer or 0 speed DPS, any DPS, right? And then that DPS is going to do fuck ton of damage because you don't need speed on them. In a cleave team, you need speed. You need like plus 140 plus, so that DPS unit can take a turn. But if you run a Tiye, you can run a 0 speed with maximum attack crit damage and 100% crit rate, that unit is going to nuke the hell out of the enemy team. Okay, Elliot, we'll take a look. His targeting is now 2 turns or 2 units. Okay, so yeah, the second hit is a random hit, and the first one you can target. Yeah, Elliot, that's the biggest change. Now he's a 2 target unit, and he inflicts taunt, which is also very massive. 2 turn taunt on 2 units is very good. He's also max HP scaling now, so you can actually build him as a bruiser because his S3 gets -1 cooldown every time he gets hit. So yeah, he's gonna be very good, no doubt. But in point war, when you can't target the enemies, his AI might be very stupid. He could go for like Ahmed and someone that cannot be cooldown reduced or anything. So yeah, that could go sideways in point war. But in like RTA, he is going to be like probably one of the best units in the game for RTA. You ban out their Jinyu Yao, they're fucked. 2 of their units cannot use the skill forever, permanently. And they're probably gonna get taunt forever as well if they don't have any cleanse. And this skill is so good because it dispels all buffs as well. It does so much in one skill. Yeah, this has made Elliot so much better. Okay, they also changed Luo Yan. The Death Tomb is now undispellable, like I said, revives instantly with healing upon death at the cost of this status effect. Healing is equals to 30% of max HP. So now he's the only unit that can get Death Tomb. And the way he gets Death Tomb is when at the start of combat and when an ally dies and he doesn't have a Death Tomb. He himself cannot revive, can only revive 2 times because his Death Tomb can only trigger once per battle when an ally dies. So when an ally dies and he doesn't have a Death Tomb, he will get 1 more Death Tomb. So at most he's gonna get 2 per battle, and after that, when he dies, he just dies. Previously, the Death Tomb lingers for 2 turns on the ally. So when they die, it's like they have 2 turn of invincibility or standoff, right? Because when they die, in the first turn, they revive back to 30% HP, and if they didn't die the first turn, then the second turn they will still have a revive mechanic. Now it's only just 1 turn, so it's kind of like a nerf to him, but again, he can revive now. And the other nerf in a way to him is that his buff is no longer silver border, because now it's replaced with a standoff, right, instead of Death Tomb to the ally. And the reason why previously the Death Tomb was good is because Hyde cannot steal it, so Hyde cannot remove it from his S1 attack. Now the standoff can be removed by Hyde. Okay, let's take a look. Is his AI still stupid or is it smarter this time? If he starts off with the S2, then yeah, he's still gonna be an L. Okay, he still sucks. He's still gonna be shit on auto in a cleave team if you're trying to run him, because he's still going to prioritize the S2, because the S2 is a buff skill, whereas the S3 is a damage debuff skill. And the ally or the AI will always target buff skill. So yeah, he's still gonna be an L. Let's take a look at Fatum Sisters. There are 2 is +2 cooldown on their ability. Yeah, it's a +2 cooldown, so I mean it's still gonna be the same. If you don't revive, then it's still gonna be a 4 turn. If you do revive, it's gonna be a 6 turn cooldown, which is the same as Abigail, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's the same as Abigail. No, Abigail is 7 turns, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, very good. She can revive and apply invincibility right away, because her skill 2, if you've forgotten, applies speed up to all allies and also applies invincibility and cleanses that unit. Tevor buffs is just is something else, man. His damage is just so fucking crazy, man. He's gonna be so good in Ritual Miracle from now on. If you have Tevor at R2, he's gonna be so good because he will not miss anymore. The thing is with Tevor's R2, right? It specifically says Tevor's attacks always land a critical hit. This is different from getting 100% crit rate. 100% crit rate, you can still miss and you can still not crit when the enemies have crit resist. But this one, he will 100% of the time crit. It's not the same as having 100% crit rate like Ggez. This is actually better. Yeah, I think that's about it. Ciao.